Hey, sports, fitness, and health fans, Coach Frank here. If you hadn't listened to it yet, go back and listen to my episode about Smokey and the Bandit, where I relived the actual movie in real life. And listen to that because it got me thinking that during that whole excitement, I had a lot of problems with my neck and my back from whiplash, just from turning the car so fast during that episode. So you may have been in a car accident and walked away feeling like you didn't get a scratch on you, but usually there's internal damage that you just don't even know about that will creep up later in life and really cause a problem for you. I want to talk to you more about that today, and we'll get into all that and more right after this.
Game on, sports, fitness, and health fans, with another episode of the Sporting Good Posture Digital Radio Experience. Gear up for Coach Frank's advice from the sidelines as he helps you crush your game, no matter what sports, health, or fitness game you play.
Hey, this is Coach Frank. I'm Sporting Good Posture. What are you sporting?
Hey, Coach, what do you got for us today?
Welcome back to another episode of Sporting Good Posture. This is Coach Frank here, and I wanted to talk to you about car accidents. I've realized that we're almost 100 episodes into my podcast series, and I've actually never done an episode on car accidents. I'm actually sorry I haven't, because it really is an important topic, and it's something that I see in my office a lot. So if you've been in a car accident and maybe walked away feeling like you didn't get any injuries or you just had a little fender bender, I wanted to talk to you about the cumulative damage that can happen from these car accidents on top of any other traumas that you've been through. It's really one of the things that puts your body over the top, that could turn down the road where you start leading to an unhealthy life. And not knowing kind of what happened there is one of the reasons why people will come in and years later have these issues that creep up on you, but really you can kind of go back to the point where it happened. And I want to help you figure out how to prevent some of that long-term damage and how to get your body back to what it used to be, or even prevent some of this that happened if you know what to do. And I'm going to talk to you about that and more right after this short message.
Where do you carry your stress? Whether you carry it in your shoulders, hold it in your neck, or feel it in your back, it's usually not chronic, but it's always annoying. Carrying stress isn't normal at all, but how can you know for sure how the stress you carry can be hindering you? The answer is the Advanced Postural Impact Screening at Ideal Health and Wellness Center. Chiropractic studies have revealed that posture is more than just how straight you stand. It measures spinal and skeletal support of every body function. Poor posture reveals trouble areas in your basic structure, interfering with body function, leading to pain, discomfort, tension, sleep trouble, and even digestive issues and allergies. There isn't a body function that isn't potentially at risk. Dr. Margella conducts the Advanced Postural Impact Screening to trace back postural issues to their origins, which often have been accumulating over your entire life, to find the real reasons things haven't been working their best. And that means everything when you're trying to reach your ideal performance. See where the sources of the stress you carry lie and find out what you yourself can do about them. Call Ideal Health and Wellness Center at 615-567-6683 now.
So you got in a car accident. Well, what's the big deal? You know, you may have been sitting at a stoplight and you were waiting there for the light to change, and then somebody rear-ended you. You may have been driving and you hit a wet spot and the car may have spun out. You may even had gotten into a bad accident where you may have flipped the car. You may have been in a multiple car accident, or you could have been going through an intersection. I hear this a lot, where somebody goes through an intersection and gets T-boned because the other person was texting and wasn't paying attention and slammed right into you. Or maybe you rear-ended somebody or backed into another car or a tree or something like that. So, or maybe you're like me and you tried to relive Smokey and the Bandit in real life and run out of gas and drive backwards down a hill and do a 180 and turn your car around and give yourself whiplash at the end of that. Maybe that's part of the issue too. And if you haven't heard that full story yet, go to sportinggoodposture.com/bandit and you'll be able to hear that episode and you'll be able to understand kind of what I'm talking about. A lot of these things can happen, and it happens more often than you think. A lot of times you get in that car accident and you may not even feel anything at that time. Or if you do, the pain may be short-lived and kind of goes away. But if you combine those car accidents that you've gotten into, maybe it's one time, maybe it's several times. I know some patients in my office that have been in 5, 6, 7 car accidents over their lifetime. So everybody's different, but it is what the mechanism of the car accident does that sets off this chain reaction in your body. And basically, that car accident really is a way that ages your spine. It's something that gives you whiplash. It gives you damage to your spine, where now it's possibly doing destructive things to the discs. It could be pinching nerves in there. It could be causing bones to move out of position and muscles to tighten. You may have torn something in there, maybe muscles, maybe ligaments, maybe tendons, just depending on how bad the car accident was. You could have even broken some bones. But it's really, in the scheme of things, it's the accumulation of these injuries that are adding up. So if you've listened to some of the previous episodes that we did, and we talk about the timeline. So your body has this timeline, right? And it goes from birth to when you get older. And that timeline is basically all the accumulation of things that happen there. First, it's from birth to crawling to walking to sitting at a desk all day doing your work at school, to also playing sports, to maybe getting in car accidents, now getting a job and sitting at a desk all day, and maybe getting in more car accidents, maybe having more injuries from sports that you're playing or things that you're doing. And now you've had these accumulation of injuries. And that car wreck that maybe you got in 20 years ago that wasn't a big deal then, now a lot of times I'll have somebody come in, I'll take some x-rays, and I'll see on the x-ray that there's damage in there. And I can tell, I can date basically in a range of when this happened. And I'll say to somebody, hey, it looks like you had a car accident about 20 or 25 years ago. And they'll say, wow, how did you know that? And I'll say, well, on the x-ray here, I can see the damage that's accumulating there. There may be bone spurs, there may be misalignments of bones, loss of disc space. Some of these things that I'm seeing on there, I can pinpoint a range of dates when something major may have happened. And a lot of times the person will be telling me that, wow, it really wasn't that bad of an accident. I really wasn't hurting much. I really didn't feel much during the accident. And even afterwards, it wasn't really that bad. And I just kind of blew it off. I was in college and I didn't have the time or the money to do anything about it. And now you're in your 40s and all of a sudden it is a problem. And these are the things I see a lot in my office because it's something I lived through just recently. If you listen to the episode of the Smokey and the Bandit episode that I did, if you go to sportinggoodposture.com/bandit, you can listen to that episode. And during that episode, I talked about how sore I felt after that whole incident occurred. And I didn't even get in a car accident. I just went through the motions of almost getting in a car accident. And I was sore from a little bit of whiplash and some muscle soreness from me having to just control my car when I wasn't able to have the power steering there, and how sore I was for about a week after that. And I can only imagine the people that actually do get in a car accident and then years later, after they didn't do anything about it, have those damages in there. And it gives you that area of the body that usually gets weakness to it. So if it's your neck, could be your back, could be your shoulder, but these things now are weaker than they used to be. So if you're trying to go out and do workouts, you're trying to, maybe run or cycle or play with your kids, and now you have these weak spots throughout your body or these areas of compression in the spine, now your body's not going to function like you want it to. And now all this accumulation has turned into dysfunction where it's affecting your ability to do the things that you want to do, like playing with your kids or going to the gym or going on vacation or riding your bike or just driving to work or doing chores around the house. All these things now become an issue because of a previous accident that was never checked out. I always tell people, no matter how bad the accident is, if it's just a little fender bender or if it's a major car accident with multiple cars or even worse, if you flipped your car or went down a ravine or something, that's where you really got to get checked out. And it's worth getting checked out because if you do something about that right when the injury happens, there's so much less of a chance of that degeneration happening in the spine, much less chance of ligament and bone and tendon and muscle damage that can happen, and also the nerve damage that can happen because of pinched nerves and misalignments that are created from that whiplash that you get from the car accident. Or even think about a sports injury too. If you watch football, you've seen a quarterback get blindsided and their head just whips like crazy from when the person hits them from behind and then their head has that bad whiplash, and then they get slammed into the turf, and maybe their helmet hits again on the ground. Those things, if you ever played sports and you've been involved with any kind of sporting injuries, those are just as bad as car accidents. And if you played sports for a long time, they say even like football, every time the linemen have a play on the field, it's like a car accident they have because they're just slamming into each other over and over again. So if you played any of those contact sports growing up, then you do have damage in there that probably didn't hurt at the time, but you've now had an accumulation of those things over the years where now it is turning into an issue. And everybody's unique out there. And you have your own set of circumstances of things that have happened in your life, of maybe it's car accidents, maybe it's sports injuries, or sitting at a desk, or all three. And you may be sitting there dealing with these injuries now. You may be younger, you may be older. It doesn't really matter, but the body's meant to be moving. And if it's not moving correctly and there's dysfunction, it's going to lead to more problems as you age. So the main thing that you need to do is just figure out what's going on and how to get it fixed, and figure out what's going to be the issue behind it. One of the things that I can do in my office is basically just get screened, do an x-ray, figure out what's going on. We can do an exam on you, figure out where the problem is, why it's happening, and give you some options on how you can fix it. So the first step is giving me a call at my office at 615-567-6683 and set up an appointment where we can go over what's going on and do an exam, do some x-rays, figure out why this is happening, find the root cause of the problem, and show you some options on things where we can fix it, whether it's in my office or maybe it's some things you can do on your own. I want to help you figure that out. And all you got to do is pick up the phone and give me a call, or you can DM me on Instagram at Ideal Health Wellness Center, or you can contact me on Facebook as well at Ideal Health and Wellness Center. Tell me what's going on, and I'll tell you what I think. This is Coach Frank. I'm sporting good posture. How about you?
The Sporting Good Posture Podcast is a broadcast wellness production powered by Ideal Health Wellness Center. All content copyright 2021. All rights reserved. Executive producer Frank Sardella. Coach Frank appears courtesy of Ideal Health Wellness Center in Franklin. For more information, visit sportinggoodposture.com and follow Coach on Instagram at sportinggoodposture.
You caused $300 damage to my car. Hold on. Let him go, Biff. Well, looky what we have here.
Remember the time you drove backwards out of gas down the hill, came to the bottom, spun the car 180 and didn't go over the ravine? Yeah, that was cool.
That was really cool.